This is a double leg wrestling takedown instructional video. Before learning about the wrestling takedown, you must first learn about the wrestling stance. The wrestling stance is debatably the most important aspect of wrestling. A good stance means a good shot, means good wrestling, and a bad stance means the opposite. For a good stance, you want to bend at the knees and the waist, have your head up, your shoulders forward, hands down pointed towards the mat, and your elbows in. While in your stance, you have your feet slightly more than shoulder width apart, and your feet slightly staggered, meaning one foot is slightly in front of the other one. We call the forward leg the lead leg, and the back leg the trail leg. Now that you fully understand the wrestling stance and its importance, you can now learn about the takedown. The first thing you want to do is get in your stance. Then you want to find the right distance between you and your opponent. If you try taking a shot from too far away from your opponent, or too close, it will not end well, and your shot will be defended. The next thing you want to do is take a slight step left with your trail leg and lower your level. To lower your level, you want to bend your knees ever so slightly, but maintain all other aspects of the stance. Head up, hands down, elbows in. At this point, your opponent's hips should be about eye level with you. Now that you are low and ready to take your shot, you want to take your penetration step with your lead leg right between your opponent's legs, putting your head right onto the side of your opponent's hip. Now that you've taken your penetration step, you want to drive that knee onto the mat, pushing your opponent backwards with your shoulder. As you drive your knee down to the mat, you want to reach for the back of your opponent's legs right at the back of the knee. It is extremely important at this point to keep your head up and into your opponent so they cannot push you down. After you have taken your penetration step and driven your knee into the mat, you want to bring your trail leg up beside you, planting it right next to you at a 90-degree angle. Notice I still have my head up and into my opponent and my shoulders forward. At this point in the shot, I don't want my back to be perfectly upright, but I want it to be slightly more upright than it was when I was in my stance. Now to finish the shot, I want to drive off of my trail leg that's planted on the ground up into my opponent. You want to use your head to drive into your opponent, keeping it up and into them. As you drive your feet through them, pressuring into them with your head, you use your arms to sweep their legs out from under them. As you finish your shot, you want to drive your opponent into the mat, still holding their legs. Now we're going to take a look from the opposite angle. So find the right distance, then you're going to sidestep and level change simultaneously. Then you want to take your penetration step right between the opponent's legs. Drive your knee into the mat, pushing your opponent back while you're reaching for the back of their knees. Bring your trail leg up and plant it at a 90-degree angle. Then drive off of your planted trail leg through your opponent, pressuring them with your shoulder and head. You want to continue pressuring them with your shoulder and head until they hit the mat. Now we're going to check it out from another angle. So everything the same, check your distance, sidestep level change, penetration step right between your opponent's legs, keeping your head up, driving your knee down, and then following it up with the plant leg. From this angle you can really tell how much I have my head up and into my opponent. This is of vital importance for an effective wrestling takedown. There should be no separation between your head and your opponent's hip. And then driving off your plant leg up to both feet through your opponent, sweeping their legs out from under them, while maintaining pressure with your head and your shoulder throughout the takedown. And now we're going to take a look from one last angle. From this angle, it is easiest to see the footwork as it is from the wrestler's point of view. So there you are with your side step level change, penetration step, driving that knee down to the mat and reaching for both legs, then using the momentum of the shot to bring your trail leg up, planting on it, and then driving through your opponent. Make sure to keep your head up and into your opponent as you sweep their legs out from under them. And keep the pressure into them as you finish your shot. And here's what the double leg wrestling takedown looks like at 50% speed to about 75% speed.